Thank you, Dick. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to thank Dick for those kind words, because it's quite timely, in fact, to talk about promotion and being referred to as guys number 2 as my annual appraisals tomorrow afternoon, so it won't go unduly noticed, so thanks for that. Before I start, I just want to talk a bit about my background in terms of UK Mail. Part of my role is group development, looking at responsibility for innovation and product development for domestic and international parcels and mail. So obviously I've got a vested interest in this particular track, hence why I think Sean and I had quite a heated debate last night over a few portions of carbohydrate. But again, that's how passionate we are about it. So again, a very constructive session, I think it was as well. Again, what I want to do now in the next 15 minutes, give you a bit of insight into UK Mail, some of the challenges that we faced collectively with retailer distribution, and what specifically UK Mail has done in response to the requirements of retailers. Very briefly, in terms of UK Mail, since October last year, we've been operating under the UK Mail Group as one integrated business, and I think UK Mail Group describes clearly what we actually do and ultimately what we offer our customers in a comprehensive way. 4 key strands to the group. Top left, we've got the mail, core 2 and 3 day services as the first downstream access operator and alternative to Royal Mail back in 2004. We've since developed iMail, the web-to-post solution, which has seen significant growth in volume. And more recently, which I'll come on to later, our new sort of groundbreaking bridge between mail and parcels, our Packet Plus product, which we did a deal with Royal Mail back in end of March, basically. Parcels, where the business started, a core parcels offering, but since then developed key service solutions for print logistics, for the distribution of point-of-sale material to retail branches, and also the retail logistics service, which again is all around store replenishment and how we get to those stores in a timely manner. Left-hand side, bottom, we've got the courier, core same day, and the doorstep swap-out services, and on the right-hand side, we've got the UK pallets. So again, a comprehensive list of offering from the UK Mail Group, really. As a leading integrated postal operator, we operate across 52 sites with almost 40 years' experience. I think it's important that we are a PLC-listed company, but ultimately, I think what's been critical the last 12 to 18 months is our financial stability and our efficiency, not just from our own ability to operate in the current conditions, but also the confidence from our customers who want to do business with us that we are actually a viable going concern. I think that's been seen quite a lot in the recent tenders that we've had to respond to. I think Sean mentioned about B2B and B2C. We are one of a few networks that run an integrated network carrying B2B and B2C services. And again, I think we're the only mail, packet and parcel integrated network in the UK since we've signed this agreement with Royal Mail. Ultimately, carrying through the same network in an integrated way on the same vehicles allows us to operate a low-cost network, deliver consistent high levels of service, and I think going back to what I said before around the range of services we offer, the infrastructure gives us a complete one carrier solution. This morning we've heard about what retailers expect from carriers in terms of distribution requirements. Very briefly touched on the wide range of services from UK Mail Group in terms of retail logistics and print logistics. I want to spend the rest of this session talking about end delivery, and it's quite sort of key in terms of our tie-up. Really, it's quite by coincidence. I think we managed to talk about end delivery rather than necessarily the full distribution cycle. I think traditionally, as carriers, we've always focused on the retailer, and quite rightly probably, because they're the guys we do the contracts with, they're the people who actually pay for the services. We give a standard and premium service, we give item tracking, we give POD, confirmation of delivery, we give relevant management information back to the actual retailer and the shipper. Not quite sure now what Simon does with it all, and actually how relevant that is. But again, I think in the process of doing that, we focused on satisfying the purchaser rather than and we've actually lost sight of the recipient. If you go back to pre-2004, before the mail market was deregulated, I think Royal Mail were in a unique position where they actually had the retailer and the end recipient as customers. And I think what we've learned at UK Mail through the mail market is we're starting to bridge that gap between not just looking at it as a traditional parcel carrier in terms of the retailer being their customer, but also looking at that recipient in terms of our customer as well. Quite importantly, both Simon and Sean, I think it ties back quite nicely, is that we can't necessarily improve the delivery experience by ourselves as a carrier or a retailer. We can do certain things, but are we doing the right things? I think it's something we need to do collectively to affect an improved delivery experience. you look at the delivery challenge, and Simon mentioned about the Snow Valley report, and it is an interesting read in terms of what's coming through, about the level of first-time deliveries now hit 83%, which is a good achievement. But actually, there's still 17% of people who might be dissatisfied with that delivery. So how do we get that 17% up into the high 90s? What is the key to flawless first-time delivery? I think, again, it comes back to a few key phrases. I think convenient to them in terms of the recipient, and also at a cost-effective price. Again, there are a range of services out there, and I think in one of the findings in the Snow Valley report, one retailer was offering 12 options around delivery. So again, the range of options are available. I think what we need to do is simplify it and make it simple to understand from a recipient's point of view, so they can actually clearly see what they get in terms of a delivery service. I don't think as carriers we've made it too easy either for retailers to promote the actual service we have to offer. So I think we need to work closer in terms of making the offer simpler to understand from a retailer point of view, and then can be portrayed into a recipient's perspective. And I think what we need to do is really look at a seamless integration transaction, not make the purchase complicated and put people off buying, but we've got to look at how the actual delivery selection fits into the overall purchasing process and isn't done as an afterthought. I think one of the points here is around, we carry information, we pick it up, we item track. I think, how can we, carriers, act as enablers to support the retailer to affect a good delivery experience? It's all about information, being informed. And again, I think what we want to do is extend basically the service through the brands at the doorstep to drive return business through satisfied customers. I think historically, customer satisfaction has potentially stopped at the point of dispatch. A good experience of the retailer and not necessarily a good delivery on the doorstep experience. It doesn't, and I think they're one seamless transaction now. And it's a full experience right through from purchase right through to delivery. And I think that's the delivery challenge we have to tackle as carriers and also retailers. Again, some further findings, which I'm not going to go into too much detail on from Snow Valley, but really it's pretty self-explanatory. Good delivery experience, high customer retention, reduced cost, repeat business. But actually, what is important is enhancing, not just allowing for the delivery. But what actually do we mean by enhancing the delivery? I think we've got to take into account that we live in a more dynamic age, and therefore static delivery requirements do not meet the changing needs of consumers. For example, tomorrow, I plan to work at home to expect the delivery of a parcel. I've now been told to be in Birmingham to see the Group Ops Director. Again, I still want that parcel, but I can't actually say I can't come to Birmingham, I want that parcel. I want to be involved in the dynamic delivery decision to say, actually, I want that parcel rerouted to where I'm going to be in Birmingham, or I want that delivered on another particular day. And I think that's the challenge we have in terms of enhancing that particular experience from a recipient point of view. Very briefly, what's on offer? Again, we've seen earlier on in the presentation around it being geared to the retailer, timed options, management information. We've seen posted options emerge over the last 12 to 18 months and longer. But again, from a retailer point of view, depending on the type of traffic, either whether it's lightweight, low value, or high weight, high value, has meant a multi-carrier approach. And I think this has often led to a historically complicated recipient experience when they're trying to purchase and also understand the delivery experience. What we've seen from research from UK Mail customers and also general independent market research is what recipients really want. We talk about predictability, informed when we expect to deliver as early in the transaction as possible. Reliability, as you heard in the previous presentations, delivered when we say we'll deliver it. Choice, the option to choose an alternative delivery service and trade up for time services. If I know it's coming in 3 days, I'll accept that if I know when I'm buying that particular product and I can expect it to be delivered in 3 days. I think ultimately it comes back to control. The control is being taken away from the recipients, but again, they want to be able to track and modify the delivery options. And again, this comes back to a dynamic delivery process. And again, let's not ignore convenience. I think we potentially play lip service to it, but again, from a recipient's point of view, we're all recipients. We want it at a time that suits them and not at a time that suits us, basically. Overall, I think, again, we need to be cost effective. We heard in previous presentations, and again, where we're moving in terms of some of the service offerings we've got, we're starting to provide a much more cost effective, complete delivery solution. So how's the UK Mail responded to some of the challenges put to us by retailers? I think probably the biggest development in packet delivery since downstream access and since the first downstream access agreement in 2004 has been our recent agreement with Royal Mail. for our new Packet Plus service. Again, it's a service to meet complete retailer B2B and B2C traffic profiles and really starts pushing the boundaries and extends the weight limits up to 5 kilograms. It really bridges that gap between the mail and parcels, and it really starts to bring together a complete service solution for recipients and retailers. Again, it's reliable and it's visible. It's discreetly managed through to the delivery office. There's no interference at the inward mail sense through Royal Mail, so again, we can see where it is in the life cycle. It's handed over to Royal Mail, and again, it's competitively tailored to actual retailer. So again, depending on what you're sending out, we're not looking at an average wage service, we're looking at actually paying the price for the actual item. So again, there's a lot more can be said for controlling that delivery cost. Ultimately, what does it provide for us? Again, mail, packets, parcels, it gives us that opportunity to become that complete one-carrier solution, and that's the space we're now moving into. We talk about trading up. Packet Plus is very much your 3-day service, and again, your base product for delivery. But again, if you wanted it tomorrow, but I don't want the inconvenience of actually being in to sign for the item, we develop Postpack. Again, it's a non-signature service, posted option, or it can be left with a neighbour. There's no signature, so there's no intrusive requirement for the delivery. And again, volume's right, that can be done for £3. Again, great service, next day, started to meet retail requirements, but also recipient requirements. Alternatively, Express, talking about Sean's opportunity to actually trade up in terms of services required. A time delivery which requires a signature with a clear flat rate price up to 1 kilogram, but also starting to introduce increased liability as standard within the price of £500, but also being able to trade up in terms of additional liability for higher value items. So again, trying to respond to some of these retailer needs. So I think what we've seen in terms of some of the choices for retailers and some of the service developments we've got in terms of Packet Plus, Postpack and Express, what we're trying to do is wrap up those products into a complete delivery solution for retailers to their end clients and really start to understand the needs of the recipient. Therefore, on the back of what the new services we're looking at are new recipient-centric services. Again, trying to tackle this first-time delivery challenge. Again, we don't want to leave a card. We don't want to bring it back. We don't want customers having to come to a depot. We want to affect that first-time delivery. So again, reduce time, AM, PM delivery slots which we operate. We're providing alternative delivery points. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the billing address, or we can actually move to an alternative delivery point. And again, we're affecting leave-behinds with neighbours in a safe place. Again, instructed by the actual recipient of the actual goods. So again, it's coming back to their particular control. And again, I think what we are doing is exploiting technology to inform and improve the delivery experience. It all comes back to information. We're doing it for the retailers. We're starting to do it, and we are providing these services to the recipients. So we've got the tracking information, we've got the pre-delivery notification through SMS and email, and again, we can provide alternative delivery days. So again, it's about getting these services in the minds of the recipients and the retailers and how we actually pitch them to the market to give the consumer the choice. So what next for retailer distribution? I think as carriers, what we need to do is really start to package what is available more clearly, and we're starting to see that, and we've simplified how we position our products in terms of retailer services and also recipient-centric services. I think what we need to do is work with retailers to facilitate the capture of recipient information to enable the effective dynamic delivery. Again, we need to take the mobile phone number, we need to take the email address. It's at the point of purchase we need to use that and push the information back. We're collecting that information. As well, I think we need to remove the barriers. In the past, I think we've talked about a number of delivery options and getting the information onto websites in previous discussions in previous years, but I think we need to avoid large and costly IT developments. Great idea, but it's number 62 on the priority list, and again, it's going to cost. So I think we need to try and utilise and exploit existing technologies to do that by back-ending into retailers and carriers. And I think a new or emerging thought within the market is to actually retailers to enable carrier and recipient interaction. I know Simon's very keen to keep that quite separate, but again, if we can keep the recipient informed, again, put control of delivery back in the hands of the recipient in a complete 360-degree way, I think we can really start to affect and improve delivery experience from the point of purchase through to the doorstep. Finally, I just hope you'll take advantage of the latest product offering from UK Mail, available for today only. Please enjoy the lunch that will be served after the Q&A session. If you have any more thoughts or want to discuss anything I've discussed through the presentation, or want to talk about more generally about UK Mail Group, please come and join us on the stand, and we'll happily talk to you in a bit more detail. Thank you.